What if the storm you feel inside isn't something to fear, but something to understand? Within every human heart lies a battlefield. Peace versus chaos. Clarity versus confusion. Light versus darkness. Today, we explore how to recognize, transform, and rise above the negative energies within ourselves through ancient wisdom, sacred texts, and the guidance of great minds who walked this path before us. Negative energy is not inherently evil. It is misdirected energy. According to Ayurveda, rajas and tamas are qualities of imbalance. Rajas brings restlessness and anger. Tamas brings inertia, fear, and depression. These energies are not to be feared, but brought into balance through sattva, purity, clarity, and harmony. Carl Jung called our unconscious shadows, the parts of us we refuse to see. We project these energies onto the world until we recognize and integrate them. The Bhagavad Gita teaches, "Let a man lift himself by his self. Let him not degrade himself. The self alone is the friend of the self, and the self alone is the enemy of the self." Negative energy doesn't appear suddenly. It accumulates. It is the residue of experiences, thoughts, and emotions that we have not fully processed, understood, or released. Let us examine the primary sources through both spiritual lenses and Stoic wisdom, as well as practical understanding. Unhealed trauma, pain, that is not transformed, is transmitted. Unhealed trauma, be it childhood neglect, emotional betrayal, or loss, lodges itself deep within our subconscious mind. This creates emotional knots, which, unless addressed, continue to generate fear, anger, or sadness in our lives. In Buddhism, this is called samskara, impressions left by past experiences, which shape our perceptions and emotional reactions. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 5, urges, "Let a man lift himself by his own self alone, for the self is the friend of the self, and the self is the enemy of the self." Stoic insight. Epictetus reminds us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The Stoic approach to trauma is not denial, but transformation, examining pain with reason and learning to grow from it. Toxic environments. The spaces we inhabit, physically and emotionally, carry energy. Constant exposure to criticism, fear, gossip, or manipulation can erode our inner light. The Tao Te Ching teaches, "When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you." Toxicity isn't only external. Sometimes we internalize negativity and become the critic of our own soul. Example: a peaceful man may feel drained simply by working in a high-pressure job with no room for mindfulness or authenticity. The soul suffocates where truth cannot breathe. Stoic reflection. Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving." Thus, choosing the right company is not just wisdom, it is soul hygiene. Excessive ego or comparison. When we anchor our self-worth to status, validation, or appearance, we feed the ego, and the ego is insatiable. Comparison is the thief of joy. The Bible, in Galatians 6:4, teaches, "Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone, without comparing themselves to someone else." Spiritual insight. The Sufi poet Rumi said, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you." To let life live through us, we must release the illusion of control and superiority. The ego thrives on separation. The soul, however, seeks unity. Overconsumption of media. In today's world, silence has become a stranger. The constant bombardment of noise, news, social media, entertainment fragments the mind and overstimulates the nervous system. A man wakes up and checks his phone before he even opens his eyes fully. Headlines scream disaster. Comparison creeps in through curated images, and by 9 a.m., his soul already feels exhausted. Stoic parallel. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, warned, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Media is not inherently evil, but like fire, it must be controlled, or it will consume. Suppressed emotions. What we bury within does not die, it festers. Suppressed anger becomes bitterness. Suppressed sadness becomes apathy. And suppressed joy becomes resentment. In Eastern philosophy, particularly Ayurveda, emotions are considered energetic forces. When blocked, they disrupt our internal balance, what Indians call doshas, leading to both emotional and physical disease. Spiritual reminder. The Gospel of Thomas declares, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." To cleanse ourselves of negative energy, we must first recognize its roots. Awareness is the first step toward healing, and from healing arises transformation. The Tao Te Ching warns, "He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty." We must identify not just the trigger, but the root beneath the reaction. Buddha said, "Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned." Practices to purify and transmute negative energy breath awareness, pranayama. The breath is not just air, it is prana, the life force. When we practice conscious breathing, we awaken the silent healer within. Anulam Vilom, or alternate nostril breathing, balances the left and right brain, calming anxiety and restlessness. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali 1.1.2 declare, "Yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. Through breath, we become the still lake, not the ripples on its surface." Meditation and mindfulness. To meditate is to come home to yourself. Sit with your thoughts like an old friend, curious but not reactive. Watch the rise of anger, fear, or grief, and realize you are the sky, not the passing storm. Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us, you are not the storm. You are the sky holding the storm. Each moment of mindfulness brings you closer to inner mastery. Sacred sound and mantras. Sound is vibration, and vibration is creation. Chanting ancient mantras, Om, Allah, Rama, tunes us to the universal frequency of love and peace. The Rig Veda says, Nada Brahma, The world is sound. When words become sacred, they shift our energy field and dissolve inner conflict. Speak less, chant more. Let sound become your sanctuary. Journaling and reflection. The pen is an instrument of soul alchemy. When you write, you extract the poison of unspoken thoughts. Journaling your fears, doubts, and shadows turns the unconscious into light. Create a sacred space with candlelight, incense, and silence. Make writing a ritual. As Carl Jung noted, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Transforming emotion into compassion. Every difficult emotion is not a burden, but a beginning. Anger, when transmuted, becomes the fire that forges healthy boundaries. Fear, when embraced, transforms into inner wisdom and intuition. Sadness gives birth to empathy, the divine ability to feel with another. Rumi wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Al-Ghazali, the Islamic mystic, taught, "When the soul knows God, it knows peace. When it forgets God, it becomes disturbed." Our emotions do not need to be fought. They need to be felt, understood, and elevated through compassion. Compassion is not weakness. It is strength in its highest form. Let every emotion be a teacher, not a tormentor. Protecting your energy. Not every battle is yours to fight. Creating energetic boundaries is not selfish. It is spiritual hygiene. Say no with grace when your peace is at stake. Distance yourself from environments or people that drain your light. You are not a container for others' chaos. You are a vessel of sacred stillness. Surroundings matter. The outer world mirrors the inner. Declutter your physical space to release stagnant energy. Light candles, burn incense, or keep symbols of your faith near. These are not decorations, but energy anchors. Sacred geometry, clean air, and soft light create a home for your soul. Your surroundings are a spiritual practice. Make them a temple. Prayer and divine invocation. When words fail, prayer speaks. The Psalms proclaim, "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Prayer is not begging. It is communion, a return to the divine within. Speak with God like a child to a parent, like a soul to the source. Let each invocation light a lantern in the darkness. Real-life transformation stories. Transformation is not a fairy tale. It is the fire of truth meeting the courage to change. A veteran with PTSD found inner silence through breath and mantra. A woman drowning in depression rediscovered herself through art, painting her sorrow into beauty. A man, once full of revenge, chose forgiveness, and in doing so, became free. These are not saints. These are people like you. Their stories are mirrors to remind you, you can rise too. The divine does not ask for perfection, only presence. The moment you choose healing, heaven walks beside you. You are the alchemist of your soul. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not darkness. You are the spark that breaks through it. Your pain, your shadows, your flaws. They are the fire that purifies. Control of negative energy is not repression. It is sacred transformation. Psalm whispers, "Be still and know that I am God." In that stillness, all confusion fades, all masks fall, and you remember you are the light you seek. Eternal stillness. If this touched your soul, share this light. Subscribe to stay connected to this sanctuary of stillness, and return here again and again whenever the world feels loud. You are safe here. You are seen. You are home.